Welcome everyone to the stream. How we doing? I'm the Wombat of DM, and we are in session 7 of our campaign in the Seregen Kingdom. Yarvik, our halfling ranger, is unfortunately not with us today. He will be NPC'd, but the rest of the gang's all here. We've got Belzian, the half-elf monk, Roger, the half-elf rogue, Ulrich, the human paladin, and Zippo, the kobold warlock. So, last we left off, guys, we kind of turned tail and ran from the Mithril Brothers' mines after a large amount of goblins gave chase when they were disturbed from their celebrations. So they came up to the surface after a few unfortunate events. But they managed to get out relatively unscathed and warn the town that the goblins are planning an invasion of the surface. And then they slept for the night, or vice versa. I guess they slept for the night. They warned the town, slept for the night, and then warned the town some more. So they're now rested and ready for whatever comes next. They are now plotting what to do to deal with this threat, since the King's Guard, the town guard, are unable to add to their numbers. They can only aid in their plans. Welcome, everyone.
And so we were able to get some potions from the town guard, right?
So the town guard is going to give you potions based off of your plan for going into the mine. So if there's like things that you want, they can see what they can do to get you things that will assist with that. So like if you want to be sneaky, they might offer you, potions that might aid you in that. If you need to be better at climbing, they can help you with potions like that, things like that. So in other words, they're not going to give you access to the stores, but they'll see what they can do.
Yes, this was like our homework that I totally didn't forget about till just now.
Nothing's better than doing homework last second anyway.
I voted for just like some healing potions, just in case. The goblins seem to hit pretty hard.
And ultimately, that was the idea, right? Like, if you guys weren't able to come up with a solid plan and didn't really know what potions you wanted, he can always provide healing potions for those of you who want it. So
I think it'd be good to give Roger a potion of invisibility.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's practical for the rest of the party, but or if how many of those the guard has on him, which might be the more pressing question.
Does the guard have any goblin love potions? Maybe we could woo the king away from the queen, No, that's a terrible plan? Okay.
Well, no. I'm all for that. You and Zippo can fight over who can do that one.
Can we
Yeah, I do think that's
dress
good.
Zippo up like a girl goblin?
So, I mean, we don't need to make him fall in love. We just need to control him, right? What do you think town guard has any potions of mind control or anything like that?
Which goals?
So the way that mind control works, you have to make the victim of the spell be the one that drinks it.
Yeah, that doesn't. I mean,
Well,
right?
That would be the same thing with the love potion. What I'm saying, though, is
Right.
give Roger here a potion of invisibility and have something that influences the goblin. Roger just slips into his food.
Yeah, this is one of those times where it's a shame Jordan doesn't have the charm spell.
say it'd be much easier, I think, just to poison them if we were going to do that.
Well, that's actually a better idea.
it seems
We have collected some poisons from our incursions with the Naga. I could probably provide you with a poison or two.
And if we're gonna
Says,
poison it, we really don't have to even get near him. We just
Frozen.
have to get a well-aimed shot in with an arrow that's covered in poison. Right?
Technically, that depends on the kind of poison, but I'll take whatever the guard can give me. Might be good to have a few different kinds just in case.
I mean,
how many types of poison are there?
well,
Well, there
I'm
should be
just spitballing. I don't know.
four different kinds based on the method that they work. Right, you can have ones that you inhale, ones that only hurt you if you're punctured, ones that you have to eat, and then ones that hurt you just if they touch you. Presumably, there could be.
How big was that hall that we saw that the goblins were feasting in, like their banquet hall? Was it like 200 feet long?
It was pretty massive.
Pretty big.
It was big. I don't think we could poison all of the goblins.
How close to the Goblin King would we have to get for it to be more or less a sure shot?
Let's see.
Not that I'm against the idea of poisoning people, because that sounds amazing, but we don't know what kind of magic that the queen lady can use, so who's to say she couldn't just cure him of the poison like that?
Oh, we shoot her instead, right?
And she just cures herself, or she's immune to it, depending on what kind of magic she uses.
Man, I'm kind of leaning just towards us all going invisible. I get rid of my armor because it's noisy. And get in there and wreck shop.
You would be naked, but it's okay because you're invisible.
I mean, I do have other clothes, but yeah, I could enjoy a nice breeze, I suppose.
Yes, those windy caves.
Excuse me.
Windy or
we
white?
could-
Sorry, I misread. Yes.
We can judge how far, assuming that the crevice leads down to where the goblins are feasting, we could just go up and light a bunch of gunpowder barrels and drop them on them.
Airborne attack.
Yeah, just kind of.
I'm definitely in favor of getting as many explosives as we can.
Once we get into the mine, I can go into my ring and get all my explosives out and put that chest in there.
So is the plan everybody gets a potion of invisibility, assuming they have that many? Or are we only doing that for one or two people and then getting healing for everyone else?
We could all go invisible, but which way would we go into the Goblin HQ? Like, would we take the invisibility potion when we're in that sphere of darkness, so they don't even see us come out of it?
I'm almost tempted to go in through the back way with the spiders again, just because.
Yeah, but I kind of destroyed that way. I mean, yeah, they probably cleared it by now, but they'll be on more alert that that's a thing now. Like, before they were kind of like, it's probably not a big deal, but now they're like, they obviously came down here a couple times this way, so better safe than sorry, put some guards there.
And since I didn't reveal the map part that Zippo saw, the other entrance to the area that you know of was guarded by 3 goblins, and had a big stone door as the entryway to and it was closed on the other side of the darkness. So it was like a widened out passage that closed back in at a large 10-foot wide stone door.
And sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
It appeared that the goblins were also using some kind of casting to shoot fireballs.
Right. Well, okay. So, this is maybe a long shot, but as I'm thinking about it, maybe it'd be better if we were visible, but just not us. You think y'all might have any polymorph abilities?
Look like
We could
goblins.
all be girl goblins.
This will help
course,
with the seduction plan.
We'd have to leave it to you, Belgian, to do the chopping.
That does make sense. I'm assuming that your goblin's a bit rusty. You guys haven't been in practice.
I only know
I've
the
never
word
studied goblin.
kill, because that one gets shot at me quite a lot.
That's a start. I mean, that's
So, at the question, Broden perks up and says, "Well, it would be nice if we had polymorph potions, but nah, we got disguise self, but we don't have anything polymorph related. That's too high."
Yeah, I figured as much. Although disguise self ain't too bad.
be right.
Make us look like goblins, but some of us will be too tall.
Well, yeah, but I think it'll. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not gonna pass off as goblin.
Yeah, me either. I'll be way too tall for a goblin.
you're very funny, Zippo. maybe we could get a disguise self potion for Zippo, since he is of the appropriate height.
That works.
That's the only problem is that he doesn't speak Goblin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How hard would it be to fake goblin though? You just gotta nod and smile every now
scream at
and
them
then.
in infernal and hope that they think I'm dumb.
Just grunt. You could possibly sneak by that way. Am I able to teach everybody like super rudimentary goblin, like yes and no? Or like hello?
You could,
Or
but
where is the bathroom?
With that,
if they don't, if the players don't remember that phrase in the future, they'll have to make an intelligence check to remember it.
That makes sense.
so yes and no aren't super useful if you don't know what you're being asked about.
That is true. They could just be like, "Are you someone in a disguised self potion?" Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you could also teach them like where's the bathroom, or like, common phrases that when you first started learning, you probably
Yeah, humans suck.
yeah.
Hashtag
Past the ranch.
praise Orac. Like very simple goblin.
Yeah, it's kind of like a matter of like knowing what you might want to teach them, and also them not knowing exactly, like it's going to be hard for them to recognize a phrase in Goblin. You know what I mean? So one-way communication doesn't work necessarily, but you can certainly teach them a phrase or two if you'd like.
Okay. Belzian is a font of knowledge.
What's Goblin for? A beer, please.
It's actually pretty simple. It's just and you gotta snap and patience.
All right. So disguise self may be one route here, but it does present a lot more problems than I was expecting. So invisibility, and I'll doff this armor and go with that. I'm all dressed up so I can heal us pretty well.
What will Will you be okay to fight without your armor?
Oh yeah, I'm naturally sturdy, Zippo. I just wear this to look pretty.
It does look very pretty.
It's so shiny.
I need me some of that.
How long do you figure that this potion of invisibility would last? And are there any things that would cause it to immediately stop working at the worst moment?
Well, as with most invisibility spells, if you make an attack, they're gonna see you. If you make noise, they'll probably still be able to hear you. They just won't be able to necessarily spot you. And well, it's only probably gonna last a minute. And he kind of like looks around on the label for a second.
This would be good to know. Also,
It's like it looks like it's supposed to last for an hour, give or take.
oh wow.
Now, mind you, as long as you don't make an attack or get attacked.
Does dropping barrels full of explosives count as an attack?
Presumably the barrels won't be invisible.
They just, whoop.
So how much poison did you get then?
Well, it depends on what other stuff you. So, right now I've heard invisibility potion, disguise self, and poison as ideas. How many of each? You have 6 potions in total that you can take.
Have 5 of us going down into the mines. We only really need to kill 1 person. So a single potion of poison should be okay.
Due to the nature of the mission, there will likely be some collateral damage. But at least one of them are going to die, it seems. What if some of us who are good at being stealthy go invisible and somehow dispatch our target, and the other ones cause a distraction or something to divert their attention?
Alright. I mean,
Then you could get away
I'm
with
not
fewer.
really made to sneak around.
You and Jordan both are capable of making quite a lot of noise.
Yeah.
I can also make a silent image to cause a distraction if need be.
Of a dragon.
Maybe not that big, but
Dang it.
A big dragon compared to a kobold.
it would be no larger than a 15-foot cube.
But let's be a little realistic, Zippo.
Yeah, you and your dragons, it's pretty silly.
Plus, I've never actually seen a dragon in real life, so
It's
I
just
don't
me with
know if I'd do
wings.
it justice. Interesting. He thinks about that for a moment.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very intimidating, Zippo.
Hey now. I'll have you know I have proficiency in intimidation.
Plus, generally speaking, with silent image, if something comes into contact with it, it dispels the spell. So we might not want something that takes up that whole 15 foot unless it's unreachable.
What kind of things do you think the goblins would be afraid to approach or touch? So they'd be less likely to try to dispel the silent image.
Well, Auric.
Suddenly he's at the front door, and they're like, "What?"
We could make a second Auric.
There.
That's a very interesting plan.
Or a fire elemental.
Fire elemental they might be wary of, yes. I mean, any large danger could work.
Spider.
It's just a matter of, yeah, a spider could work too. Yes, we fought spiders. That would be something believable.
What's the scariest thing you've ever seen, Jordan?
Obviously, it's me.
So I was gonna say Zippo.
Well,
The second scariest thing.
the scariest thing that I've seen was larger than 15 feet. So
Wow. You'll have to tell us about this later.
yes, it's a story for sure. I'll tell you it around the campfire sometime.
Alright, so me and Jordan make all the distraction and noise that we need to. You three get around back invisible and take care of business. I keep Jordan alive, he keeps me alive. We all get going.
Zippo gets the treasure chest in the locked room.
Question: Where would we be making all the noise? And which are they going down the passage we've gone before, or?
Yeah, so I would say we divide and conquer, right? Like one of us goes to the front door and the other one goes to the back. And by
Maybe
one of
this
us, we're
time we
one
blow-
group.
Yeah.
You have a way to communicate between groups.
Well, not. But
My only concern is splitting the group. If one group gets in trouble, the other can't support. Maybe we could distract in the same area so that things pass us by or something.
Do you think we could lure any of the goblins into the sphere of darkness? Where I can handily beat the crap out of them? If need be.
They didn't seem like they wanted to follow me into it because they saw me, but they didn't really react enough to run. So I feel like they're more.
Yeah,
wary
if you
of us.
recall, they kind of called into the darkness, knowing that you were there, and eventually when you weren't listening to commands, then they started kind of attacking the darkness. I cast magic missile into the darkness.
There's no options here.
With us having kind of destroyed the back way in,
What if? Hear me out. What if we all jump down the cavern? Jordan casts Featherfall on us. We all have lit barrels of gunpowder. When we get inside of them, we chuck them.
where it was kind of a walk though.
Which cavern?
I'm assuming that the cavern connects to their little area that they were eating in. That's all based on a supposed assumption of that.
Okay. The one that you almost fell in the
Yeah.
darkness? The one thing I'll note from that is you heard rushing water below you. And from what you guys saw of the Great Hall, there was not any, like, water streams in that Great Hall.
Dang it.
There could be, like, a passage that connects to it from there. And there was a scaffolding that went up the side of the southern side of the Great Hall that went up to a set of smaller double doors than the ones you saw, Zippo. But a kind of a similar set. So presumably the door that you saw leads to an antechamber to perhaps that other set of doors.
Okay. The plan actually won't work because it's not connected, so we can't just dive bomb up.
You could chuck it down the scaffolding once you got in and do that same plan, but you wouldn't be able to do it from the ravine.
Do we have enough explosives to cave the entire goblin cave in on the goblins?
I believe you have 2 explosive barrels.
Yeah, Zippo has 2 in his ring, and then whatever we can find in the mines.
You also have 6 barrels of ingredients.
That could possibly. Which actually do, because Zippo has the recipe book, so shit.
Yeah.
We can make. I think we have enough explosives if we want to. I don't know if we can take down the whole big cavern, but we can probably knock the entrances down.
Like that big door?
If we want to blow open that big door, we could definitely do that.
We could. I would also doubt the goblins are expecting people to just bum rush the front doors. So, I mean, if all else fails, we could just bum rush the front door.
They seemed pretty emboldened and braver than usual after that rousing speech from their leader. So I think maybe we need to be scarier than they are.
Alright, so what if we come from the darkness? It's just me and Jordan. Jordan, you've got some big scary monster joins us from out of the dark. And this maybe is something that could knock down the door on looks of it. We demand to speak to them. You think we could bluff them into essentially opening the door for the 3 invisible ones?
Yeah, and if we want, Zippo can stay in the darkness and scream out of the darkness in Draconic or Infernal, a scary type language from the beast. That is a hallucination. And try to intimidate them into it.
Put on a little show for them?
Yeah.
It's an idea.
Is there a way to make Zippo's voice louder? Like how loud are you, Zippo?
Zippo will
He's pretty
scream
loud.
at the top of his lungs.
Several guards in the barracks begin looking alarmedly at Zippo and give Sergeant Broden a meaningful look, and he's like, "Please stop."
Pardon us. So we're just rehearsing.
I was like, look. So it looks like he's just trying to move things along now, and he's like, have I heard 5 invisibility potions and 1 poison? Is that what we're going for?
Yeah, we can always use them to run away if all else fails.
Sounds good to me.
All right. He hands Roger the one that he's holding, and he goes back to get some more. So the poison bottle he brings out has a label of a spider on it. So it looks like it might be spider's poison. So similar poison to the poison that you experienced actually in the mines. So it looks like the spiders are not just in the goblin mines, for example.
And this poison, does Broden or the label say anything about it being one that has to be delivered via a certain method, or is it equally effective?
Good question. It is a piercing damage.
Okay.
So when an enemy is pierced, the target must make a DC Constitution saving throw.
So we gotta stab him with this one. Okay.
Stab or shoot.
We'll poison the Eldritch Blast.
I believe Eldritch Blast isn't piercing.
Force damage.
It's magic. Yeah.
All right. So I guess the only thing that I want that we don't have already right now is a telescopic pole that I can use to look for edges of things when it's impossible to see.
That sounds a little complicated. Not sure if they'll have anything like that in the general store, but you could check Magic's
No,
Magic.
that place sucks.
I don't think I can afford his prices.
Yeah, I can't either.
Nobody can.
Could you not use something?
Honestly, I don't know how he stays in business.
Like, you not use something like a broomstick, or even like the other end of the shovel?
Just
You could probably get like a walking staff or a quarter staff from one of the weapon stores in town.
Buy a spear.
In fact, I probably have a quarter staff or two in the weapons hold if you'd like me to check.
A staff or a spear would be fine.
Yeah, I could get you a spear for sure. Let me. Would you prefer the staff or the
I think I'd prefer the spear.
spear? All right. He goes and gets you a normal spear.
So I guess we'll distribute the invisibility potions. We should go probably talk to the Mithril brothers and explain the scope creep of this contract. Perhaps press them for more money.
This has
Before we
become
go, Zippo will go up to or is it Burden? Is his name?
Broden, yeah.
He'll go up to Broden and be like, "Can you watch my dog while we're gone, please? I don't make it
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
I want him to live in luxury."
Well, I mean, he'll be here. He'll have plenty of people to interact with, and he kind of gestures at the group of men and women and other races that are part of the town guard.
Okay. And then Zippo will hold out Brunhild's collar and be like, "I'll be back, buddy," and just give him a kiss on the head.
And one thing I'll note is the weapons rack is actually visible down one of the halls. It's like kind of racks that are kind of mounted into like a hallway between rooms and things like that. There's definitely a lot more weapons there than there are guards in this town. As if the town used to have more and is now kind of spread thinner. Which is why he was so easy to give up a spear, you know. There's plenty of them.
If all of you want spears so that you can tap for edges of things in the dark, now may be a good time to ask.
a spear for everyone. Let's all get spears. It could be like a gang thing, you know, like camaraderie. I get a spear, please.
Be the 7 spears like in
Yeah,
Sekiro.
be the 6 spears.
Please, sir, can we have some spears?
Please, sir. I'll gladly.
So
Tuesday for a spear.
the spear is double the size of
Yeah.
Zippo, if not more.
Zippo will
Same with the halfling. Does Ulrich or Belzian need a spear? Jordan's kind of like, I'm good.
I'll take a spear, please. I've read about this sport called pole vaulting. Maybe we'll be able to try that sometime.
You can, but don't don't get any illegal demons in here to sue us if you do get hurt with one of these. And he hands you a spear.
Right.
He kind of smirks as he says it.
Thank you.
Let's go see the Mithril brothers then.
Let's go.
Bye, Brunhild.
Bort. Brunhild kind of runs to the window and looks out as you guys leave, wagging her tail and then kind of cocking her head, and then drops down and disappears from view.
As we're walking away after seeing that, Zippo's just got his head down and his hands as low as they can go, pretty much straight from the ground, just trugging along.
This does remind me of the book of Charles Brown when he was sad.
Yarvik kind of waves you off and says, so I recognize that, you know, we're going to need all the help we can get down there. But in my days of tracking, I experienced some really good lures and traps for, you know, catching prey, and I think I'm going to try passing off some of that to these guys here. So why don't we I'm going to spend a couple hours up here doing that, and then I'll come down once I'm done, and I'll catch up to you. So you guys said you're going to be heading toward the darkness path. I'll look for you down that way.
Thank you for your continued assistance, Yarvik.
He nods and he's like, "Yeah, I just want to make sure that they're good. And it has nothing to do with the tons of goblins down there at all." And he kind of tips his hat at you and goes back into the
He's
barracks.
smoking his pipe.
He's like, "All right," and he cracks his fingers and he goes inside.
Alrighty. To the Mithril Brothers.
I'm gonna grab a food. I'll be right back.
All right. Mithril Brothers is looking as slow as ever. You notice that there's an increase in guard there. There are 2 towns guard that are at the mines, in addition to the mine workers that have been posted at the warehouse. They're back there instead of at the mine entrance now that there's actual town guards there. Other than that, there's less people there than there were before. It seems like the workers have been sent to shelter instead of doing their normal job due to the increased alert that there is in the town.
So we'll go and try and find the first of the Mithril Brothers, the one that has all of the business know-how, whose name I will pull up.
So the one that you interacted with first? Okay, so you're talking about Thomas. Yeah.
Thomas, and the other one's Douglas, right? We want to talk to Thomas.
Okay. Do you go try his office?
Yeah.
Okay. Thomas is in his office. Some of the papers that were there have been cleared from the desk and stacked neatly to one side. But more papers have replaced them, as well as some sealed letters with wax seals that have been stacked to the right as well. They look like they're ready to be sent off.
Thomas.
He's kind of wringing his hands and he says, "You're back.
We're not dead.
They told me that you returned last night. But you hadn't resolved the issue. There's more danger down there than we were expecting. What's going?
That's correct.
He kind of cocks his head. What's going on?
We've come to complain about scope creep.
Are we all in there, or is it you and Ulrich again?
I would assume we're all in there.
I assume we're all in here if we can all fit.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
Zippo, I just want to point out, Zippo's not paying attention. He has shape watered a little image of Brunhild, and he's sitting in the corner just looking at it sadly.
Oh, okay.
So the goblins, from what we can discern, appear to be organizing an attack on the town. There are hundreds of them, and we've yet to have an opportunity to isolate Auric. or his advisors to dissuade them of this plan, either peacefully or otherwise. We've come to ask for more resources in doing this.
I will say that also includes information because, anything you can tell us about the sudden increase. I mean, they've clearly got some machinations of their own, but just want to make sure, like, for example, we noted that there were some barriers that led down to a back entryway. Did those barriers go up? Why did you put them up? When did you find that back entryway?
Where you placed the darkness box so we can get through there to get them.
That as well.
He nods and he says, well, we were aware of the number. I told you there was a great number of goblins down there.
Yeah.
So that's not exactly a creep. And he looks meaningfully at Roger. And I will say that if they're attacking my mine, they're attacking the town already. This mine is 1/3 the business that comes out of Jewel. This is part of the town. So
let me clarify what I mean by that. The above ground part of the town.
The one with the innocent people.
Yes, I understand.
Living.
That's that. They explain that's why there's more guards and things like that. Your presence precedes you, but I guess what I'm trying to say is they've already been attacking us. They've been attacking my men. They've been attacking people that live in this town. Them coming to the surface heightens the problem, of course. But my men aren't really equipped to handle it. That's why we erected things of that nature in the first place. The defenses that are down there.
I'm not sure.
The barricades.
The goblins seemed very, very
but-
upset already. Until we mentioned the Mithril brothers, then they got even more upset. Very unhappy. What did you guys do to them?
Belzian, is that a bluff?
No, they got really angry when I said we were coming on behalf of the bros.
Oh, I see.
Like, they seemed like already kind of on edge, but that just made them like super angry.
Well, as I've said previously, we haven't done anything to them. They broke the truce. Who knows? Maybe they've always hated us and they were just waiting for their time to strike. We didn't fully trust them. That's why we put up the barricades originally, even before the truce, or even after the truce that was made some years ago. We kept the barricades up and kept traps going just in case they ever tried to stab us in the back. The darkness that you mentioned is a more recent attempt to slow down their encroachment as we were evacuating the mines, and we kept it there, hoping that it would continue to be a source of consternation for them. In fact, I've heard reports that indeed some goblins fell to their presumable deaths down in that ravine when they weren't able to make that corner. If you have a map, if you recovered one of the maps, I can mark off exactly where we placed it, at least where they told me they put it.
Roger will present his copy of their map.
I see you've opened the vault. How was it in there? Intact? As he's perusing the map and he puts a square down, I'll move the, in Roll20, I'll move to the map so I can mark it off for you.
I don't know what it looked like before, but there did not seem to be much evidence of goblin tampering, if that's what you're asking. On the inside of the doors, at least.
Everybody see this? So it's right here. I'd mark it, but it wouldn't show up because it's in darkness.
Sorry, can you do that one more time? Okay.
You know, we might be able to pole vault over to that little piece of land.
Maybe.
To put in perspective where Zippo fell twice, it's there.
Not my best moments.
Alright, actually, can I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
Because this thing, doesn't it have like or is it a diameter?
It's a radius.
Radius?
So
Couldn't it be like,
radius of 30 feet.
A radius
So
of 30
diameter would be 60.
okay, cool. So it should be like right here. Alright.
Yeah.
So, are there any more materials that we can get from you in support of this? Ladders, rope.
Explosives.
Well, the explosives are down in the mines. We don't store it on the surface. But I mean, ladders, you could take some down. Generally speaking, we took beams down and constructed the ladders down below because, you know, the only access is the elevator shaft. So what we ended up doing is we'd basically erect kind of a a platform on top of the elevator that we could lower things down vertically. So if you need like more than a 10-foot ladder, then you'd need to probably make do with a 10.
I will take what we can get.
Ropes, I have plenty of ropes. The same things that you had access to last time. I really can't offer you more money if that's what you're asking. The agreement is the agreement, and it hasn't really fallen outside of that purview. Not to mention that there's another member that I've sent down to assist, who presumably is still down there, that you've might have locked down there. Hopefully he's doing all right. Strange fellow.
Yes, it seems he nearly prevented us from leaving. Be nice to know of other friendly people in such an environment before we encounter them and not after.
Well, in truth, it seems like you've given him the same courtesy.
I suppose that's easy now. Yes.
You said he sounded capable and strange. Who did you send down there, and would we have to share the reward with them?
I mean, he's not working with you. He had a separate contract. I felt that it was unsafe for him to go, but he insisted that he would be as capable as a party would be. He worked better alone. So, considering the track record of several other adventuring parties, I saw no pain in allowing him to do what he wanted. We signed a similar contract.
Alright, well, just going forward, once we go down there, because you only have one elevator up and down, no one else is to go down, unless it is down guard.
And what if it's been several days and you have
That's
not returned?
a different story, obviously, but it hadn't been several days when you sent that man down there. It had been several hours. So I'm just asking for the courtesy that you give us a couple days these things.
A couple days? Okay, I'll give you, 48 hours?
That is the definition of a couple days, I believe.
Sounds reasonable.
I am saying this as a monk. Have some faith.
and you'll forgive me for it. It's not like I've had my share of loss, and several with the track record of the parties that have gone down. The party that returned before you didn't even last 2 hours down there. I saw no reason not to allow someone who was willing to help, willing to make a contract go down.
No,
And I did tell him that you were down there. In fact, the elevator was down when he entered the mines. He had to use his own methods to get down.
that's all fair. I'm just wary of having any kind of situation where someone's trying to go down to protect themselves and someone else trying to go up to protect themselves.
I'll tell you what, as an added courtesy, if he does return to the surface, I'll make sure we send the ladder down.
That works.
Or send the elevator down.
That works.
Yep. All right. Well, let's be off then. Thank you for your time, Mr. Mithril.
Boys, good luck. He begins rubbing his hands nervously again.
Thank you, bro.
Zippo will freeze the little image of Brunhild and set it on his desk. That's gonna melt in an hour and then walk out.
Is it on a bare area of the desk?
What is it? Oh, I just set it down. I didn't look at where I put it. Because I'm doubting I can see where the desk is, so it's probably on the edge because it's probably taller than me. So I just kind of plop it up there.
Right.
Make sure Zippo isn't looking when Thomas inevitably shoves that off of his desk.
He's just kind of looking at it as he disappears from view as you head back down the stairs.
All right, to the mines. I guess after we grab our rope and ladders and such.
Sorry, I rolled for something and it's just funny.
How many documents Zippo destroyed by doing that?
Something like that.
Let's get 2 or 3 of those 10-foot ladders. And we can always leave them in the elevator if need be.
Okay, so you'll need both hands to carry them. The little guys aren't going to be able to carry them without another person.
Yeah, Zippo's not carrying.
And they'll just barely fit into the elevator cage.
Can we
Will they
stash
fit?
them in the elevator?
Will they fit better with the giant hole we cut in the top of it?
Yeah, and you're lucky that Thomas doesn't know about that yet.
It was like that when we got it.
The goblins
We can-
kind of tried
We
to
can.
attack
We
us.
It
can
was
blame
probably the
the
goblins.
We can blame the goblins for that one.
Yeah, I'm alright.
Right. Frankly, our contract says do what we need to do to get it done, and stipulates nothing about us paying expenses for destroying things.
He does have a point.
Yeah, the vague wordings meant for the goblins might backfire on the party. I'm just gonna leave Yarvik up here. We'll pretend he's not visible. I don't feel like deleting him just to have to add him again later.
Fair enough.
We'll check the exact.
Wait for me.
Quote unquote, do what you need to do to fix this.
Yes. Now, before we head down, remind me, I don't believe you closed the vault, correct?
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, I'm
I
also.
remember you going up,
Yeah, we
considering.
We definitely wasted time doing that before we jumped down the.
I remember you going up. I couldn't remember if you did or not, and I did not watch back to that
Yeah,
part.
Belzian and Roger were fast enough to get over to the vault before the rest of the party.
Right.
We were going. I think initially we wanted to take some stuff out of there, but then we discovered the elevator was gone. So
Yes.
we quickly closed it and then figured out what to do with
Okay.
the elevator.
All right.
As we're
Fair
going down
enough.
the elevator, it's very obvious that Zippo's nervous. And if anybody asks him about it, he's nervous for Brunhild, not for himself, and he's just rubbing his ring.
You look a bit nervous there. Yeah.
What's Brunhild gonna do without me? She doesn't have a
You-
So
family.
who's controlling the elevator?
Zippo, you have the recipe for making gunpowder, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it out of his little satchel with the little book.
Let's see. So-
Were you saying something?
Talking to myself.
Oh, okay, all right. I was just making sure. It sounded like you were breaking up, that's all. All right, so you guys go down the elevator. I'm assuming, Roger, you're controlling it.
Yep.
And you do the thing.
Open the clutch, pull it down, wait till we get to the first floor, I suppose, because we're going to look at the barrels. Engage the clutch.
Cocoon. The cocoon echoes throughout the first level of the mine.
We're back!
You notice that several more tracks have been pried up from the area in various haphazard areas, as if the goblins have looted more of the iron tracks. Doors that used to be on their hinges have now been broken down, and you see that some of the powders that were in the barrels in this second room are spilling out and tracked into the hallway by small-sized creatures' feet.
That might ruin our plans for doing something with the gunpowder.
Indeed.
Are there still a couple dead goblins in this room?
Looking into the room, you do not see any corpses.
You think they went, fellows?
They probably took the bodies of their dead to either be resurrected or buried.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what kind of magic he does, so I don't know.
Ulrich brings one of the ladders out and sets it just against the wall, just in case the elevator moves again.
Like which wall?
He
mark it.
will set a ladder right here.
Okay, perfect.
Try and cross this over here with one of the ladders, although it's caved in on the other side.
Say that again?
We could try to cross this over here with one of the ladders. Although with my dark vision, I can see that it's caved in on the other side, so there may not be much point to it.
Mm-hmm. You can attempt to put the ladder across that bridge for sure, or even across that ridge there. Yeah.
I don't know how helpful that would be, but
Are you gonna try going across?
um, I don't know how useful that's actually going to be.
Okay.
Zippo, why don't you mix us up a barrel of gunpowder here from the reagents we've got on this floor? Why don't we take that down?
So if we want, I have an actual barrel of gunpowder in my ring, and I want to put that treasure chest in my ring anyway. So 2 birds, 1 stone.
We could do that, sure.
So Zippo, you go into the second room and you see that the barrels are shattered. Not like the spell shattered, but like they're broken apart. All the agents are kind of flowing into each other and like kicked around and mixed around. There's a potential that some of it might be mixed properly, but
very high chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are going to be useless because everything's pretty much mixed up already. So,
Have you ever been to an abandoned warehouse where there's been like things that have been left untouched, and then somebody was able to get into the area where that was left untouched, and they just trashed the place? It looks like
yeah,
that.
we used to have like an old high school building that nobody used. That was like certain rooms were like fresh, and then they had parties there once, and it was not fresh. Okay. Those are going to be useless, so we'll have to get my barrels anyway. So I want to go get this treasure chest. Got a can open.
We did just tell them that room was undisturbed.
Yeah, 'cause-
You told them that the vault was undisturbed.
yeah, we told them we don't know what it looked like before. So to us, that chest was never there because we would never look. We were never in there before.
I'm just saying this is a livelihood of people.
Okay, it could be our livelihood.
Alright, I'm just not going to invite you to my estate when we go back around.
You're what?
Nothing.
Peering over the edge here, am I able to see the sphere of darkness, which is theoretically below us somewhere?
Give me a perception check.
Come on, D&D Beyond. Ooh. 26.
So you have dark vision, right, Belzian?
Yes.
So you look down and you see that there's a rushing river that seems to be moving south in terms of its flow. There does seem to be somewhere around, actually, the very area that you're above. There seems to be a disturbance to that flow, as if there's a whirlpool. It's spinning around that area and kind of churning there. Most of the water is still flowing south, but some of it seems to be disrupted there.
Interesting.
You don't see any darkness, however, any darkness that you can't pierce with your vision. You can see that entire crevasse and water below.
I could not view the dark with my dark vision. Thank you.
Just based off of that, could you give me an intelligence?
Probably. Like 6. Oh, I just did a save. Okay. I think the number would be the same if I just...
It would be. You're fine. I guess the only thing I'll note is the sound of rushing water was very similar down below, but different enough that it doesn't seem to be the same area.
Gotcha.
Let's go down then. Shall we take the elevator down?
There. Sounds good to me.
Okay. So we'll just save the chest for last. We're gonna get it last.
There you go.
Once we're all in here, Roger will go ahead and bring us down to the second sub-level.
Cha-chunk, 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 cha-chunk. You head down and get to the second level, and the elevator does not get all the way down into the level. It goes about halfway down before it catches on something and begins to tilt a little before it hits the wall and kind of starts screeching.
We'll obviously stop it at this
and
point.
And you can hear that like the cable's starting to like pile up on top, and you can see it through the opening that you've made.
Roger will pull it back up until the cable goes taut again, and then stop
Okay.
it. Assuming that leaves us enough room to wiggle out through.
Yeah. So the passage is 10 feet tall. You have 5 feet of clearance, so you all can still comfortably get out. But it is an elevator that is in between floors. Some people might feel nervous about this. Jordan, for example, looks extremely nervous about this prospect.
Can we
He
see?
wasn't really a fan of being on top of the elevator. Now to be...
Spoken like a man who's never been trapped in an elevator. Roger will, without fear, lean his head out and look at what's going on underneath the elevator.
I mean, fair. So, what you see is evidence of where the iron tracks went that were pried up from above. It seems like a haphazard attempt for the goblins to prevent the elevator from going down any further.
How deep is that?
So the passage, the area that's beneath the elevator is only, it seems like, 4 or 5 feet, so another 5 feet down. So these tracks are literally sticking up and like stuck into the ground because they fell the entire length down and kind of landed. They're bent, they're warped, it's kind of like a heap of metal and trash now.
We've already made a whole bunch of noise, so I don't feel bad if we have to make a bunch of noise clearing this out.
Yeah. There's another ladder inside of this elevator with us, right?
Yep.
Ulrich grabs that and shimmies it down to the ground so that he can start climbing down.
Yeah, and it's just a 5-foot drop from where you are, but if you're doing it like you're shimmying it down, so like think of it like this: it's like here's the floor, here's the elevator, and here's the elevator chamber beneath.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like the catch for if you go too far. So it should be here. It's up here. So it's like a 10-foot difference.
Right. Yeah, I think that the only reason even though it's only a 4-foot drop or 5-foot drop, it is still a bunch of iron that's around, so it's better to climb
Sure.
down than throw risk it with traffic.
Yeah. So the ladder is going. So as a reminder, it's a 10-foot ladder.
Yeah.
The elevator is in the shaft.
Yeah.
So where's the ladder going where it would fit?
I could stick up into the elevator and just climb down.
Okay.
Yeah, just like.
I'm just trying to get a visualization.
Sorry,
yeah.
maybe I'm not understand, but just to the door and out the door and just like ring it down.
Yeah, the elevator's probably not super duper short. Like, it's probably tall enough to accommodate 6-foot tall people.
Something like that, but like more straight up and down.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yep, just like that. Alright, well, someone hold it up here and I'll shimmy down and start trying to remove some of that.
Roger will hold on to the top of the ladder and let Ulrich down.
Zippo will watch in amazement.
All right, so Ulrich goes down.
Yep.
Jordan comes out. And get right there. There he is. Too many people in this elevator.
Yeah, once Ulrich's down there, he's holding the bottom people.
Okay, yeah. Jordan's like, as soon as he can get out, he gets out.
Zippo will slowly climb down to get out of his way.
So Jordan, with that thing that was bigger than 15 feet you said you were scared of, was it just a cavern? Canyon or something?
He kind of looks abashedly, but at the same time, he gives you a level look and he says, "Look, I don't know what controls the thing."
I know.
And
just teasing.
I've seen what some of the mechanical devices at the academy down south can do. I don't want to risk it.
Yeah, personally, I think this machine stuff is just a phase. I mean, who really wants these kind of conveniences in their lives?
Why do this when you could
Oh,
just
but
get a
machine.
decanter of endless water and have infinite ice slides?
But machines are obviously inspiration from the 12. They invented the clock towers.
I'm just joshing around.
I know.
Perhaps
He-
wants us to leave that
he's
stuff
a
to the
little
gods.
he's a little on edge. He keeps shrugging it off, but like he's got some stress.
Yeah.
I just remembered also, Matt, we never had to talk with my patron.
Oh no, I know.
Okay, I didn't know if you were like waiting at a certain time. I wasn't.
Oh
sure.
yes.
Okay, gotcha.
When it's least convenient to strike.
Probably like mid battle, Zippo just passes out. Just talking to his patron.
The one
Zippo's
The
like
patron's like a
talking
window
to
update.
talking to his patron, and everybody else thinks that he's talking to them. What you want me to do? What? Huh?
I tried to steal it once, but they won't let me. Whenever Zippo comes down the ladder, and whenever he sees Jordan's nervous, he'll reach up and grab his pinky finger. Try to calm him.
Noted.
I guess
He doesn't shake you off.
Roger will stay in the elevator, so he's able to operate it if we need to move it quickly. Be it up or down.
Belzian totally shimmied down that ladder after hearing somebody talk about the 12. He was like, "Hmm?"
All right, so what's the plan? What are you guys working on?
Clearing some rubble? What are we doing?
Yeah, I'd say we should clear some of the iron.
How hard do we think they
Okay.
put it in there?
So the iron looks both impacted from the fall down the passage. It looks like it hit the walls several times before it hit bottom and impacted. So it's pretty dented up and twisted. Not to mention it was just crushed recently by an elevator. And is kind of currently like partially buried into the rock itself. In some places, like, it's broken in half and like twisted, mangled, and sharp edges below. Some of it looks like you can remove. Maybe you could bend or break some of it off, but there's some pretty solid looking pieces, if you know what I mean. You know, like, this is train track iron, right? So
Maybe we should leave it.
Yeah, I think that's probably best.
you looking at the elevator, like, the elevator is still functional even with the iron tracks there. If you were to remove it, you'd probably need some picks. You'd need probably about an hour's work, maybe a half hour if you get a good enough check, just to dislodge most of it and make it serviceable again. But the elevator is still functional as is. It's just not going to come all the way down and lock into place.
I am going to just ponder how
Mhm.
goblins were able to do this, because this seems...
There's a lot of them, and they had several hours.
Yeah, that's fair.
They probably have tools.
And I mean, the goblins, you know, the goblins have been doing this for some time. You
Yeah.
saw evidence of them having formed stuff down below in the Great Hall. The king's throne was built of the stuff,
Right.
with a minecart as the seat. So they're just, you know, assuming they probably have some mining tools of their own that they've either looted or have of their own.
This was more a question of, like, gosh, I hope they don't have something big, some big friend that they haven't shown us yet.
I mean, they could. You haven't seen any evidence of any larger type of goblins, like bugbears or
Hobgoblins or something.
any hobgoblins or anything like that. The only difference in goblins you've seen is the green or orange skinned.
Well, let's. So we know where on the map the darkness thing is.
Yeah,
Maybe like around in this area, give or take.
Ulrich is going to try and go there. Slowly, we'll go.
There's a cliff in the
So
way. So
you get here and you feel a cliff
Oh, okay.
right here.
Oh, right.
So you get here and there's cliff. You
Oh,
feel that the cliff kind of wraps around this way.
yep. Then the easier thing for us to do is to blindly shoot in the dark, see if we can dislodge it. So he does that with his crossbow.
Okay, blindly what in the dark?
Take a shot.
Okay.
Yeah. Going to.
So, I guess the way we'll do this is we'll say that you know the target's location, but there's a 50% miss chance.
Sure.
That's typically how we do blind attacks, right?
Yeah, it's usually like a disadvantage.
Yeah. Oh, right. So it's at disadvantage, but there's also going to probably be a further penalty.
Yeah, I mean.
Do they do 50% miss chances in 5th edition?
No, but you could increase
No.
its AC.
Right. Okay. All right, let me consider that for a moment. What's the range of your crossbow?
80, and then anything beyond that, 80 to 3 points.
All right, so you're definitely going to be doing this at disadvantage. All right, I have a number in mind.
All right. So 10.
Yeah. So the darkness does not go away. You hear an echo of an arrow hitting a hard surface possibly rock off in the distance, out this way. Somewhere this way. You can't really tell for sure where it is because, it's echoing some.
Yeah. Actually, it just occurs to me. We might just want the darkness for now, don't we? Yes. Yeah. That was the original plan, wasn't it?
Yeah, for you and Jordan to walk out with whatever image Jordan can conjure as scary, and then me to stay in the darkness and try to intimidate them with screaming the language at them.
Right.
But then we all take our potions of invisibility and try and sneak in.
Yep. Alright, well. Let's cautiously make our way in there then.
Roger will pick up a small pebble for maybe throwing later to make noise.
As we're walking, since Zippo has to be behind whatever image Jordan creates, he will hold on to Jordan, the back of Jordan, so he always knows he's behind him.
Yeah, are we just gonna hug the wall in single file?
Yeah, I think so.
Did Jordan ever make a decision on what he wanted to make that was big and scary?
So Zippo said he was going to say something in Draconic or
Infernal.
Infernal. Do you have anything in mind, Zippo, as to what he could?
The only thing I could think of would be either if he goes with Infernal, he could do maybe a demon-looking thing or something like that. Or, I mean, Draconic, he could go with a bulky-looking Dragonborn maybe, but I feel like they wouldn't be as scared of that. But I mean, I've never ran into a Dragonborn. Zippo's never personally talked to Dragonborn, so he doesn't know how scary they are to other people. If we really want to, I can scream something in Elvish, but I don't think that'd be nearly as scary.
No.
I mean, worth noting, they probably don't know giants or anything like that. Just do that ogre we ran into.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking Infernal, because it is the scariest language I have, I think.
Oops.
And it is the one they will most likely not know as well. So it'd be what is he screaming? But it'd be what is that awful sound? Kind of thing. At least that was my thought. If anybody else has any different ideas, I'm down.
That's better than anything I have.
Maybe, a big talking spider would be pretty scary to me.
I think that big talking spider would be great, because it is adorable.
It could be spider royalty, one king seeking to speak to another king.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and or the demon could be a demon prince.
Where it's translated.
But none of us speak Goblin, so we're not translating very well.
Well, but presumably they do speak some common.
Yeah, I would think they understand it a little bit. Hopefully.
So, you want Jordan to create a image of a 15-foot spider?
Yeah.
Or a 10-foot large spider? Or
Like good
You're on
but,
spider idea? Okay.
kind of just barely coming out of the shadows.
okay.
If we're gonna do using the shadow with the image as well, then maybe we could do something like a demonic face instead of a normal spider face. If he could imagine a demon face instead of the spider's normal head, or a half demon on top of the spider to make it seem more scary. Because spiders, the goblins might think, oh, that's a spider. We deal with those every day, even no matter how big it is.
Thing.
What was that?
Or Drowa thing.
Drower thing. You've never personally seen one,
Okay.
and neither has Jordan.
All right. But do we know of them?
You know of them.
I mean, I feel like, just slapping it
I got an idea.
on top of a spider body, right?
It's a dark skin, white hair, this sort of look.
Yeah, make it look like Roger. Just give him kind of a more of a purplish skin, and slap his torso on a spider.
Okay.
You can probably make it a little prettier though. Don't want to scare him off too much.
Give it a giant crown and like a cape as well. We're trying to pass it off as royalty here, okay?
So I'm debating whether this is going to be a performance check at this point or a deception check.
Well, I really hope it's deception for Zippo. Or intimidation. I like intimidation too when I scream at him.
Well, I mean for the
for the image.
itself.
I mean, I feel like we're putting on a show, personally.
Do both and add the score together.
So if Jordan was the one speaking the language, yeah, it would be a performance for sure. But since he's the one casting the spell, I guess moving it around is, I guess, something. It's kind of like a puppet, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a ventriloquist performance.
We could just send in a ventriloquist dummy. I mean, that's scary enough on its own.
1, 2, 3. All right. The spider is prepared. Okay. So Jordan's not going to be able to cast it until he can see it.
Okay. That's all the more reason for it to kind of like be emerging from the shadows, right?
Right. I guess it just says a spot within range and lasts for the duration. But I would say to get that's why he's kind of imagining in his head. So he's gonna have a definite idea of what it looks like, but it's only gonna be what he imagines in his head is coming into real life, right? It's not gonna be able to. You're not gonna be able to make any modifications after he's created it, right?
Right.
So because he can't see it until we all see it.
I think we've made enough modifications to it already.
Fair.
This is like my copy of Skyrim.
All right. So, the spell is cast into the darkness in this general area. Jordan is hugging the wall to the left of the passage. Zippo, I believe you're right with
Yeah, I'm
Jordan.
hanging on his coattails.
Okay. Zippo, you also know where the edge is to this.
Yes, I'll definitely lead him not hear it. Anytime I feel him going that way, no.
Is there any other things that you guys are doing, or so the plan is we're causing this distraction to frighten the goblins.
Yeah.
Is anybody doing anything else in preparation for this combat?
Well, if we're planning on having combat, we shouldn't drink our invisibility potions yet.
I agree. And to make his voice booming a little bit, Zippo's gonna take what water he has left and form it into a amplifying kind of speaker thing.
A megaphone?
So essentially a megaphone, but an ice megaphone. You get it's just gonna be enough to go around his mouth, so when he talks, it echo a little bit more out.
Okay, I know exactly how this is going down. All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing an intimidation check,
Okay.
where Zippo is the one that's doing the intimidation, and I am aiding him with my spider spell. So you'll have an advantage on intimidation, Zippo. And Jordan also has done hummed a little bit of bardic inspiration, so I'll spend that now in order to improve this attempt.
We're trying to get them to open the door. Don't forget that. We don't want to lose.
Yeah,
don't want to
you're
lose
trying to
sight
get
of
them to run,
the
right?
goal here.
So with an ability check, no. So if you're just doing this for a normal check, you're gonna get the 1d6 to your roll. You can also choose to make it if it was for an ability check. So like if you ever had to make an ability check instead and you want to use it for that, you get to roll the die again and choose which it would be. For an attack roll, it's something else, and saving throw, it's something else. So since this is a skill check, it wouldn't be an ability check. Correct? Because you're already getting an amplification based off of the skill.
Yeah, I would think so.
All right. So we move up. Zippo, go ahead and move into the darkness where Jordan is.
I can't enter the darkness.
Oh. Because of the wall,
Yeah,
I guess.
the wall technically is there, so I couldn't go in.
Yeah, I made a wall so that it wouldn't be that you guys could see. So I could get rid of the hide area and just have it be like a something that reveals darkness instead.
Sorry,
So.
Josh, I dropped off for just a second there, I think. You were asking something about skill versus ability check?
Yeah. So an ability check is just a straight ability, whereas a skill you're adding your skill,
Proficiency
you're
and
adding
any other relevant
proficiency
skill-related
and, yeah.
bonuses.
Right, I guess what was the question you were trying to make?
So the reason why is because motive potential allows somebody to roll an inspiration dice a second time and choose which roll to use for an ability check.
So that does include X.
Okay, all right, perfect. So you have 2 attempts to roll the 1d6 and get a better roll to assist in an ability check if you so use it for that. Who knows, you might roll well with intimidation already,
Yeah, I have advantage,
so you might
let's
not
hope.
need to use it.
As soon as we reach the spot where we're going to use it, as if we'll be ready.
So, Zippo, you recall that the edge of the darkness is about here. Ulrich is probably having trouble breaking that barrier right now, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's perfect. It keeps you guys from getting too far.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming you don't want to go out until, the attempt is full in effect.
Right. I think because again we're trying to go between. Usually, if we need to have any talking, so first we want to scare them, and then we want to.
Right. All right. So, Jordan moves the spider out 1 square. And he kind of like squeezes your hand, telling you that it's being seen as you hear a startled sound of a reaction from the other side of the darkness.
Okay. Once I hear the sound, then an infernal, with this little amplifier thing, Zippo will scream like as loud as possible, "Bring us your leader or open the door." Let me roll this. First attack is this, or first one. Let me try with that. Yeah. Oh, with that 1 point higher, let's go. I'm gonna spend that bardic inspiration.
Okay.
I'm taking the 6, so it's 22.
23 if you're
23.
using 17.
Yep.
All right. That's not a bad roll. Okay. So, with intimidation, that's usually an opposed charisma.
I think so.
At least that's what I'm used to. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I mean, you set a DC or you
Right, yeah.
get a roll.
All right, so you hear the sound of two figures moving away from the darkness. They were fairly close, and they sound like they're moving farther away at a quick pace, like they're backing away.
Okay.
Let me move the wall. I assuming you're going to be pushing forward at this point.
I'm behind them, I would assume, since it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. Oric will step out with a light.
Okay. So you see two goblins back up against the door, and then what looks like a third goblin that's green to the left there. That hasn't seemed to have moved and just kind of looks unfazed by the spider. And begins advancing toward you, even while the other two begin pushing open the door, or attempting to push open the door to get away from you. This goblin looks like he's holding some sort of holy symbol of a closed eye, and this one looks like a normal goblin.
Alright, the one that's approaching, Ulrich will step up to him and essentially make sure that he can't get to the spider.
Okay, fair. Let's roll initiative.
Oh, okay.
He's advancing as if to go after the spider. So.
Okay.
Before we get too deep into combat things,
Oh, yeah,
it is
we are
approaching
nine
the
blocks.
midway point.
Yeah, it's a good time to have a break, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we'll be right back. Hey Z, how are you? And we will be back in about 5-10 minutes for part 2 of the session.
Okie dokie.
See you shortly.
Welcome back. We are back for our second half of the session. Let's get that combat music going. So, you see before you the three goblins. We've rolled initiative. As you can see, I'm using this turn order thing here. Hopefully this will help us kind of efficiently use our rounds and know who's going next. So I'll highlight as we go. So Ulrich, you're up first. Okay. All right. Oh, you're fine. It's doing this thing where when I click on something, it backs out of the freaking thing. I've built encounters and it's not cooperating very well. All right, so we're doing a opposed athletics or strength or whatever the case might be. Okay. So as you come into contact with the green goblin, an illusion falls away, and you see that this goblin is not a goblin at all. It is, well, it's a creature made out of the flesh of goblins stitched together. So the green has faded away. It's now a rotting flesh corpse. As you push against him, and he pushes back and solidly resists your push. Okay. Regular Joe is next. I don't know why he's now 30. But maybe maybe that's whoever's on top is 30. I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, he begins pushing on the door using a strength check to do so, pushing at the one side of the door. It begins to open. Zippo. Mm-hmm. Which one are you hitting? Yeah, it hits. So it's just a spell attack, right? All right. So that's 13 in total. And Ulrich, you're back, correct? Okay. Anything else, Sippo? Go ahead, Belzian. You are. Yeah. So you won't be able to end your round in the same square as somebody else, just as a heads up. Yeah, you stumble into Zippo, or no, into Roger, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are you making an impression as if you're a goblin, or are you talking in your normal voice as goblin? Okay. Can you give me a performance check? Or if you, whichever you'd like, you could also do a deception. Okay. Sounds good. It's probably your best goblin impression yet. You're sure of it. Anything else? Okay. Roger. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You get advantage because of that. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. Are you sneaking? Roll me a sneak, please. The 26 does hit. Might as well, yeah, I mean, you rolled sneak attack, right? So the sneak attack was rolled as part of the, you get 2d6, you see that? Yeah, so you got a 9. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's Jordan's turn, And for some reason, I don't know why it keeps doing that, but I'm just going to roll with it. It's in the order that it needs to be. Jordan advances the spider out, taking care to avoid Ulrich so that it doesn't dispel the silent image. In this same breath, he's going to be moving out. Since this is a concentration spell, he won't be casting any other spells at the moment, but he can draw his rapier, and he's ready to go for anything that comes near him. He actually doesn't have any ranged weapons, so he's not going to take anything out like that. All right. Alright, the guy with the symbol around his neck, as so-called necky, he's pushing at the other door, trying to open that as well, and the door begins to open as well. Greenie, on the other hand, I need to roll a special die for. Okay. No, it was a D6. Alright, so he's obviously going to be attacking the creature that's close in front of him. So he does a melee weapon attack, which what used to look like a club is actually the arm of a goblin. And he smacks at you with it. Your AC, I do not beat with 11, correct? Second attack is a critical. As he slams you with the fist of the goblin for 10 damage. And let's see if we register on any... Okay, you're good. So I rolled to see if that was an attack that would leave lasting damage because it was a critical. It did not. And he's going to move 5 feet so that he's next to you. It does. So DC is 14. He rolls a 14. So does that mean he resists? Or... Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so the 12 actually does hit the flesh golem. Okay. Okay. So, radiant is not fire. It's like divine, correct? Yeah, it's like a divine fire. It doesn't matter either way. It seems like this positive energy attack that you kind of slice at him, and then he kind of is corrupted by this divine light and kind of crumbles into bits of flesh and ash as he crumbles to the ground and is eliminated. Nice. He's not technically undead. Yes. All right. Regular Joe slips through the passage. Now that both the doors are slightly open, there's enough room for him to slip through, and uses his full action to continue to move. Zip up. Okay. So you don't want him to run. And what was the command that you gave him? Okay, you didn't. Okay, all right. Got it. Belzian. No. Okay. Oh man, I'm trying to find something that I had. I'm sorry. Okay, all right. We're good. Roger, go ahead. Oops. Do you have that far of a move? Okay, alright. Yeah. A 17 does hit. Okay. Trying to figure out where something I prepared went. So apologies. I might have to just deal with it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. All right. So the goblin looks around panically as he's been struggling against the door and screams, "Booyag! Booyag! Booyag!" And he grabs his necklace that he's been clutching and he slams it down at his feet. And it causes a explosion to occur at his feet, affecting both Ulrich himself and Roger. Alright, so does it have the saving throw in there? No. Yeah. So I think you meet it, Roger. Because he's using an item. But before before that even occurs, something actually happens. Here we go. Whoa. Things are loading. I'm sorry. All right. So I roll a D100 die. Got an 11, huh? So, so the goblin, as he uses this item, actually seems to. Oop, hang on one sec. Sorry, did the door come open? Alright, sorry about that. The goblin seems to grow in size slightly as he casts a spell. And let's see here. Does 23 damage, but it doesn't actually fully go into effect. Take half of 23, Ulrich, and half of half because you made the save. So half of 23 would be 22, 11. So Roger, you only have 5. Ulrich would have 11. It seems like he doesn't have control of these magics, as it kind of like half of the fireball kind of fizzles as smoke and the other half is fire. Yeah, he's dead. Magic, magic, magic. What market are they shopping at? You see that his skin begins to fade as some sort of spell had been going across his body, like a shimmer of blue kind of fades away. Didn't do him much good, but yeah, he threw the whole necklace down and it exploded. Let's see here. He has a charred dagger. All right. So that kind of ends combat there. Yes. However, that will be a different layer. It lasts for 10 minutes, but it's not going to be able to, unless we open the door the whole way, anything that's on the other side is going to totally see through it. Phew. It did its duty. Right. So where did you drag the goblin? Into the darkness? So like here-ish. What about the pound of flesh? I mean, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome to. I'm not touching that thing. As you inspect it, it's a stitched together goblin. The pieces of it are like it's obviously legs and arms and torso and head from a variety of different bodies, not the same goblin. You're not sure how many bodies went into it, but especially now that it's mostly damaged. But they don't seem to match up. Like one arm's longer than the other, for sure. It looked something like that, yeah. What was that? Jordan keeps watch by the door while you and Belzine do that. Yeah, I have to add light again. Night vision, 60 feet. Zippo, night vision, 60 feet. Auric, Vision. You've got the torch. You're emitting a bright light 20 and a low light 20. Okay. Jordan is not. And vision 60 feet. Alright, we should all be good. What do you see? Oh yeah, it's just Yarvik. So there's two sides of the wall, so I'll have to move you forward. I was waiting for you to come back. Oh, you're fine. All right. So you guys go through the passage. Correct. You'll be able to still see each other because of the way my world works. Yeah, so and basically invisibility, you basically are kind of in the ethereal plane. So you all can see things that are in the kind of in the ethereal plane as well, including yourselves. So the question is, are you going in before or after you've drank the potion? Because that's important. Give me a perception check. Roger. You see two goblins standing guard at another stone door. I'll give you that perception check. That looks very similar to the door that you saw at the big top of the scaffolding in the Great Hall. Yeah, I'm having you guys peek. Can you see that now? Okay. But Roger can, right? No, you can't. Oh. Here, I got it. Yeah. Hold Alt. There. Does that work? How about you, Ulrich? Can you see? Alright. So these two seem to have been guarding the door, and were kind of alerted to what was going on, maybe by the guy that ran out. Okay, so they move off to the left and the right, and kind of leave your view, and stop moving. Well, I think that's what he's trying to tell you, to get them out. As you jump in, you jump into your ring, and you automatically feel the presence of your master. Zippo, you wished to speak with me. Beware the queen. She is a trickster. She tastes of old magics. Magics of rot and wool and crunch and bone. Her name is Rita the Cursed. And with that, you feel his presence leave you. Okay. He piles out of the ring with two barrels, and he tumbles out with like the barrels kind of scattering about. There were push doors, yeah. So Jordan's gonna help Belzian, Yarvik, or sorry, Ulrich is going to be doing it, I guess, by himself. Is that what we're looking at? What's your strength, Belzian? Okay. So you've got a better strength than Jordan, so he'll assist you. You'll get an advantage on your roll. And then Ulrich, your strength is what? 18? 19? Yeah. He's a PP dude. Alright, go ahead and roll them strength checks. And remember, you roll with advantage, so... Oh, okay. Okay, so that's enough to push the doors, but they're not moving as quickly as you'd probably like. I'm going to say that this is a surprise round, as you're basically using an attack with the door to try and crush them. Is that fair? So if you roll high on your initiative, you might be able to catch them in the door. Yeah. Well, Jordan's not going, but luckily he's not the one pushing the door. Looks like Belzian's right behind him, though. Alright, so Zippo got a 10. Roger, you are 23, so you're even beating Ulrich. Alright. Get rid of a couple here. Ulrich, that's another 22 for your initiative. That's funny. Oh, gotcha. So, the goblins are actually going last. So, go ahead, Roger. Are you doing anything, or are you holding your action for if they come running out? Okay. Ulrich, you continuing to push the door? Alright, go ahead. Okay. Inspiration works for others as well as yourself? Is that a thing? No, I don't think so. Let's see. Inspiration, using inspiration, you can, yeah, it's, you can expend it on an attack roll, saving throw, or ability check of your choice. So that's only personal, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately he used his inspiration last time, but it was for a good reason, so. Alright, Zippo. Okay. Belzian. Since Jordan, you're going before Jordan, you won't be doing it with advantage, and you don't need it. You rolled a critical. Alright. I'm just gonna roll this as straight damage, because you're basically shoving a solid stone door against a goblin into a wall. You do 7 points of crushing damage to this goblin, plus 3, so 10, as you crush the goblin and pin him against the wall with the door. Since Jordan sees that you have things handled, he kind of like bursts forth and like tries to push the other door that Ulrich is working on. Ulrich, since you're already pushing the door, I'm gonna count this as an advantage for Jordan. And we'll keep that rule going forward. If somebody's attempting an action and they fail and somebody else tries that same action, it's as if that person's assisting them, at least for strength checks. Is that fair to everyone? Jordan, however, is not... Oh wait, I got an advantage. Okay, he does manage to push the door. And also does 10 damage to that goblin. No, 9 damage. 9 damage. Who's... Right, yeah. Alright, so both of the goblins are now pinned and crying out. They're going to make strength checks to try and get out from their predicament. Lefty gets out, and righty critically fails. So lefty comes out, which triggers both Zippo and and Roger's ready to actions. Yeah, I see that. That's going to be a hit for both of you. Okay, and Roger? The goblin basically melts with the force of your attack. Not literally melts, but like he collapses to the ground in a concussed mess. That brings us to the top of the round with Roger. Okay. Consider him prone because he's pinned and crushed against the door. Which means since he's kind of crushed between the door and the wall, it's kind of a sliver of space that you can attack him. So prone generally means that you have disadvantage on ranged combat against him. But attack rolls have advantage of the attackers within 5 feet. So yeah, you could go up to him and stab him. Where did he go? So I have many tabs open. Uh, 15-meter beats, so you hit. Yep. So sneak attack, I don't believe you have in this. Oh wait, you have advantage, so yep, you do. So you are good, and he is dead. How would you like to say he dies? Okay. So you deflate him as he kind of, the door finishes its opening as he bleeds out. All right, that's end combat. Aren't they already kind of hidden? All right. So welcome to level 3. Before you stretches a passage that goes both left and right and curves off to the distance. You see 2 rooms to your left and right on the opposing wall, both with doors. Just imagine that there are doors there. They're both open, so that's why I have them so that you can see through. There's also a set of stone doors, as I described earlier, that are right in front of you. And those of you with dark vision can see at least one room on the opposing wall on either side as well. So as Ulrich looks into the room to the left, that room seems to be it's kind of a normal door like set into the stone. You can see that there's a slit in the far wall that looks out into the same chamber that that door's from. You see that there is also racks and racks of weapons set up in this room. Some empty, some still there. All small-sized weapons with some larger weapons. All basic stuff, nothing ornate or anything. Some of it looks like it might have belonged to maybe even town guards or people from the mithril mines. Some of those medium weapons might have also belonged to some adventurers that have come before you, but they are collected in this room. There are arrows, yes. This whole area seems to be very well used. The floor is smooth. You can hear the echoes of goblins both left and right of you, but you hear it primarily coming from the slit at the far end of the room. Okay. So Roger, you can see in your limited view, I'll just inch you forward a little bit. If I can, oh, I'm still on the paint thing. So you can see what looks like an open cavern. To the right, you can just barely see an edge of the scaffolding. But this looks like the top of that chamber that you were in earlier. You can see stalactites hanging from the ceiling up above. You can't see far down. You can only see kind of out at your level. I mean, it reminds you of a murder hole, but it doesn't seem to have the functionality of a murder hole. Correct, just what you have. Mm-hmm. All right. So we've got a pairing here. Or a trio. Alright, so are we going left or right? Alright. So Roger is stealthily heading forward to the first room here. Fair. Okay, so the first thing I'll say is you notice that there's a goblin at a nook to your right, about 30 feet ahead. He has not noticed you. He seems to be looking off the other direction. He's green. And feel free to move your characters around as needed. Okay. Yes. He's got cover. Honestly, with the echoes of both down below and the curve of both sides of the passage, you could guess there's probably goblins both directions. Huh? What? No, I can see perfectly fine. I just can't hear in the dark. Just kidding. Anyway. So what's the plan? Are we heading forward as a group? Is Roger moving forward with Belgium? Okay. apparently Jordan's getting pulled this way. So we're at the top of where the scaffolding is, which was hundreds of feet above, or not hundreds of feet, but like probably about 120 to 200 feet above the hall. So while there's a glow beneath, and there's a small glow coming in, it's like low light. It would be like a maybe you'd be able to see this room, but nothing further. So like you and me, we can see each other right now. But so you'd be able to see the weapons, but and anything that came into the room, you'd be able to see, but it would still be low light. Yes. Yeah, we're at the top of that room. Or maybe even above that, technically. You know what I mean? All right. Roger and Zippo and Bilzian. Okay, go ahead and shoot. It does indeed. Exactly. Oh yeah. Critical. Yeah, including sneak attack, yes. He's still up. Go ahead, Zippo. That's a hit. Yeah. The force slams it against the wall and falls to pieces. Roger, you were within 4 points. Now remember, I roll all my enemies' hit points in advance. All right. All right, so this goblin, well, this mound of flesh is now dead. Flesh golem. All right, so what I'll say is you have 3 doors that you can see from where you're at. Right here, and right here. This door is a cloth door, as is this one. This one, it seems like the room is cased in with stone. Yes. Yeah, it's like rocks that were fit in to that area. It's real. What's behind door number 1? No, right here. All right. So, I did not outfit the room, but when you push aside the cloth, you hear the sounds of sleeping goblins. You look in, and it seems to be the living area of a family of goblins. It's all one room. There's a living area here, and a sleeping nook, if you enter in a little bit more, is to your immediate right, where there are 3 goblins sleeping in the same bed. 2 look like they're adults, and 1 child. Okay. I'll keep the cloth off the door just so it's marked that you have explored it. This basically reveals to you, each of you, that this is probably the living area of the entire clan. As you see that the passage curves, and you see a door with each sector of the curve, you imagine that this could possibly go on around the curve as well. Roger, give me a spot check, please. A perception check. This is at the edge of your vision. Okay. Over here, you see that there's another door right here. This one... Oh, you can't? Over this way? You can't see this? It's... zoom out a little bit. It's to the left. Yeah, that. So up there, you see that there's yet another door. This one was also stone, but the stone is broken outward. So the stone is spilling out into the passage. Yeah. So since there isn't a stone door, it's just an open room. So this also appears to be living quarters, though these quarters are dusty and have been in disuse for quite some time. you see some gold idols made out of a lumpy gold in kind of a ramshackle image of what looks like a goblin. Some idols and coins kind of laid around the bedding area, which is directly opposite of the door right here, where a single mound of wrappings lie, but there's nothing within the wrappings. It looks like something was wrapped there in cloth, but the cloth has been removed and the stone has been broken away. The stone is more recent than the dust that's in the room. Oh, that sounds like a medicine check. Yeah. Or it could be religion if you're better with religion. Since you said ceremonial. Okay. They look like they do not look like they're wrappings of any benefit for healing. They're the smell that comes off of them smells like something that's a preservative chemical. Mm-hmm. Okay. Its middle finger is out and it's pointing south. But now that you're saying mummified goblin hand, the bracelet that is wrapped around it is a similar smell and look to the cloth that has wrapped this goblin. Okay. Okay. You gain 4 golden goblin idols and 51 gold pieces. It looks like normal living quarters. So like if you wanted like some basic goblin bedrolls or like sheets or clothing, you could take some of that. But it's all in disuse, musty, and probably moth eaten. You could probably take one of the wool blankets, sure. It's going to be for a small creature. Gotcha. All right, so what are you going to do next? Okay, and now I will also say that you see that there are more doors as they progress down the passage. So you can see at least 3 more from here. Cloth. Indeed, it doesn't seem to be inclining at all. Okay. So this room has water skins, leather, and metal armor for goblins, with shields and things hanging on the walls. This one seems to be not, it's more sparsely outfitted, as if this has been utilized but overutilized, like there's not much left. Okay, you get 2 water skins that are still full. The other ones are empty and ready to be filled. There's 6 more that are empty. Are you going to be bringing Jordan and Ulrich along, or are we just hanging out in this room still? Asking for a friend. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yes, all 3 of these doors, which look pretty similar to the other side, also have cloth on them. You hear the sounds of sleeping goblins from the other side. There is no nook on this side like there was before, although you do see that there is a nook here with another goblin keeping watch. He is orange, and I need to make a he does not see you. So go ahead and roll for your assassinate, Roger. You hit. It's just about a critical already. And he silently falls over. Still looks like he's standing in place, but he's kind of pinned to the wall by your arrows, and he's dead. Alright, he's holding a scimitar and a crossbow. This is a goblin crossbow. Alright, so there's another door here. These two doors are both stone. And I'll just put it this way. These two doors are both entombed at this point, since you figured out what that is. Neither are breached. Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? Well, I helped them out, and I'm back. Nope, not as of yet. I helped out a bit and then came down just like we said. And as you're filling in Yarvik on what's going on, a second Yarvik comes through the door and stares at the other Yarvik, stares at you guys. They're both holding torches, by the way. I should have that lit, but they're both holding torches, and they both look at each other and look at you, and they say in unison, "What the fuck?" And that's how we're going to end session tonight. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you took a pretty good beating. I was just curious, how close would you have been if you had taken the full fireball? I'm glad that it backfired. Well, I mean, I'm not glad, but I'm glad. Yes. Okay. Not bad. So, as a heads up, next session will be back on Tuesday, hopefully. That'll be I believe the 10th. Yeah, should be the 10th. Is everybody okay with the 10th? Okay. Well then, everyone out there in Twitch land, thank you for joining us. Hey Price, welcome. We will see you on August 10th for our 8th session, where we figure out the mystery of the two Yarviks, or Jaegers, or whatever they're going to call themselves. And maybe we'll even see the end to the Goblin Mines. Who knows? I don't. They don't. We'll see. But in any case, come join us next time, and we'll see you then. Thanks, guys. Bye.